to your view. We are coming to you live from the Crown Interchange out here in Johannesburg at a massive roadblock by the Johannesburg Metro Police, who are out in full force to make sure that you and I are safe for this festive season. Indeed, the issue of the road carnage on our South African roads is a mess. It's a damn mess, with 130,000 people dying over the last few years in our roads, particularly during the festive season. Ironically, a season that's supposed to be festive ends up being a tragic season for many families who have to see or who will never see their loved ones again. I want to congratulate Minister Mbalula, who today launched also out in KZN the road safety, the launch of the festival season, and what they intend to do to keep our roads safe. But what can we do as citizens to contribute to the fight against this massive carnage on our roads? I think it starts with you and I. Because indeed, what can government do if citizens, even up to now, and after all of these people have died on our roads, still take on the wheel while they are drunk? We do know of our own friends who we encourage to go to parties, leave those parties drunk, get into their vehicles, and attempt to head into our roads. And this alone has been responsible for more than half of all the fatalities that are happening on the South African roads. It's bad how we are not indeed awakening to the fact that alcohol is truly a terrible ingredient to the deaths on our roads. This evening we were told by the JMPD that they now have new machines and technologies that will ensure that they are able to gather evidence at roadblocks like these, right? That will ensure that those who risk lives of other fellow motorists and passengers, and as well as pedestrians on our roads, can be locked up for a long time. Indeed, we will be observing tonight how that kind of operation happens, but woe unto you if you go into our roads without, rather with alcohol in your bloodstream. This technology will also be backed up by blood monitoring technology for those who may not have enough evidence gathered through the new breathalyzing machines that have been put in place. These are now approved by our courts as indeed admissible in court to be able to arrest anyone who goes onto our roads being drunk. It's a matter we need to act on, and act on with a necessary agency. We know that there is an issue of demerit system. I think the demerit system is laughable, to say the least. Why is it that if you are found to be drunk on our roads, you need to have a reduced merit? In other words, to be given another chance to risk lives of people. People who get drunk on the roads truly do not deserve to have a license in their names. These people must have their license torn and thrown away, and they should never ever be allowed on our roads, because their cars, as well as their own conduct, is a weapon that kills on our roads. So that is what we as citizens can do: discourage each other from drinking and then trying to take to the roads, and also discourage our friends from doing the same. But what should government be doing? Government is very good at talking. We've had many ministers of transport who, to be honest, have been clueless, to say the least. These are ministers who, like I think it's Ben Martins, who the totality of his approach and vision to the road carnage was to say, oh, I'm going to have a dialogue. I'm going to have a dialogue with citizens so that they can tell me what to do. No wonder he didn't last as transport minister. Because what we need is not a talking, but action. And I have put this challenge to the Minister of Transport, the current minister, Fikile Mbalula, to say, when are you going to create next to the highways and next to the toll gates impounds, so that when a car or a taxi is not roadworthy, when a driver is caught without a license, when a driver is caught driving drunk, their car must be impounded and must remain at that roadblock, must remain at that toll gate until after the holidays. And that drunk driver must not be allowed to be on his merry way where he can kill others down the road. Until something that concrete, that is painful, that is with consequences happens to motorists who do not comply with the law, you are going to bury more people in South Africa. You're going to bury your relatives. Because you need a decisive action on our roads. People must know that our roads are not a playing ground for delinquents who drive without licenses, who buy licenses from officials, who buy road certificates or roadworthy certificates. As you can hear, a lot of bars out here at Crown Interchange. And we'll be talking a little later on to the Chief of Police here, Chief Tembe, who's going to be telling us what his plans are to keep Johannesburg safe and keep unroadworthy vehicles off the roads. In the last couple of days, we've had to deal with another problem on our roads, and that is our taxis. Our taxi drivers must be some of the most reckless people on our roads, but some of the most, if you like, compliance-free agents. They've created a bubble within which they live where they cannot be taken to task, even by our law enforcement agencies. And as if that's not enough, then they shoot each other in an unacceptable wave of taxi violence on our roads, in our communities. And this alone is going to be a measure of whether the government is serious about making sure that our roads are safe. Because if we have a situation where 75% of our passengers use taxis and those taxis are not safe, then we are in deep trouble. Because our people at any time can experience death while they are just trying to get by with their lives. So indeed, it is no joke that a big percentage of our road accidents now include motor vehicle accidents. It includes motor vehicle accidents where taxis are involved. And it's truly tragic how many people die in accidents that involve taxis. It's very, very bad. So they have to be watching also how the police deal with some of the taxis who are going to pass by this roadblock and indeed find that they are not at all compliant with the law. We know that at this time of the year, especially when it comes to long distance driving, we find taxis that are overloaded, that have not packed their goods properly, who have tail lights that are not working, who have brakes that don't work, who have tires that are finished, but these taxis are still on our roads. And unfortunately, because of the corruption that has also infected the police force, they are now able to get away with murder by simply bribing police. And we're talking about that a little later on to the Chief of Police. What are they going to do about the corruption that is in their own ranks, where police are supposed to enforce the law, in fact don't do that, but in fact are victims, or rather they are complicit in making sure that people do not comply with the law. So that's why we're out here tonight. We want to wish you a peaceful and fantastic festive season as we round off the year. We want to wish you a safe travel on our roads. Please be careful. Please do not drink and drive. I will have absolutely no sympathy with you if you are kept in prison because you decided to venture into our roads without the consideration for other fellow motorists. We also, of course, keeping his word is the mayor of Johannesburg, Jeff Makubo, who has just arrived on the sidelines of this same roadblock. He'll be talking to us at 10 o'clock in tonight's Frank Dialogue. And of course, as I said, the Chief of Police will be joining me straight after this, who will also be talking to us about his plans here in Johannesburg. We'll also round off the evening here at Crown Interchange. We will round off the evening with the Citizens Roundtable as we look at 2019 and what are some of the big stories, not just relating to safety, but relating to politics. We know that the SACP has ended this conference today. The EFF is starting its conference tomorrow, and we will be, of course, as Newsroom Africa, bringing you all of those developments blow by blow. Let's take a break now. After the break, we talk to the Chief of Police of the JMPD, Chief Justice Tembe, as well as the new MMC of Safety in Johannesburg, MMC Mukwena. And then, of course, don't forget that Frank Talk with the Mayor of Johannesburg at 10 o'clock here on Your Views. Your Views special edition, special broadcast coming to you live from the Crown Interchange out here.